So then guys, it is rebuild time yet again on a Sunday, and we are heading into the Premier League yet again for a team that I think, in my opinion, have been performing very, very well over the past couple of seasons, and I will be ousting David Moyes as the manager of West Ham United. Now, obviously West Ham have had some fantastic runs over the last couple of seasons, but I'll be taking charge of them today to see what we can do over the course of a 5-year period. Now, I will say we are using a updated database, so we do have the 2022-2023 season ahead of us. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 is here at the club, ready to lead the line. And Hammers fans, let me know down in the comments how you think your season will go. Obviously, this video will be edited before your first game of the season. Let me know as well how you got on against Man City. Did Haaland score? Who knows? Anyway, let's dive into things. This is our rebuild of West Ham United. As you can see, we are in the 4th of August 2022. We are ready to start the Premier League season. We've been pretty successful throughout the course of pre-season. Now, I do have to say, I've been out into the transfer market, which is very rare for me in these particular rebuilds, only because I try to keep things as kind of neutral as they can be going into the first season. But these two players that I have signed are actually still free transfers. So first and foremost, we went out and we got ourselves Dan Axel Zagadou. Now, he has been let go by Dortmund, and at the time of recording and at the time of when I started this save, hadn't actually joined anywhere. So going to be interesting to see how he gets on. He's 23 years of age, he's 6'5", he's got 18 jumping reach. He is in this team to do one thing and one thing only, that is head the football. We've also gone out there and got Andrea Belotti. Now, having left Torino, he doesn't have a club either. I think West Ham could be a good destination for him, obviously to potentially partner up front with 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪. I know Mikel Antonio is a West Ham legend, but having the three of them to play some positions could be quite interesting, and also take some of the pressure off of Mikel Antonio. So I think Andrea Belotti, very good signing for West Ham. So obviously I did mention we do have 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 as well. So if we go into here and quick pick the best 11 that we do have, Antonio does make it in alongside Belotti. A new man, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, who is here, Gianluca 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, is on the bench. Now, he is obviously 23 years of age, good in the air, good long shots, good finishing, 6'5", 16 jumping reach. So we are going to try and build a very physical team. And the tactic that we're going to be using today is the GYR Joker tactic. Now, we brought this video out earlier on this week. The thumbnail's flashing up now. It is a masterpiece of a thumbnail and a masterpiece of a tactic. So this is how it looks. So we have a goalkeeper in goal. We've got inverted wing backs on both sides, 2 centre backs, a defensive midfielder, which is obviously perfect for Declan Rice in this particular instance. That's kind of who I wanted to build this team around. Then we've got 3 midfielders across the middle, 2 Mezzalas and an attack, CM on attack, and then 2 forwards up top. So I think this is very, very interesting. West Ham, for me, are the perfect team for this tactic. So Zagadou does come in. Obviously, he's currently unregistered, same as Belotti. That's why they're red, but we'll get them registered before the start of the season. But ultimately, I think we're going to be in good shape going into things. Obviously, we don't have any European competition. So the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, they're not judging. That's kind of what happens in this database. But in terms of the Premier League, though, they want us to qualify for the Europa League, which I think is definitely possible. If we take a look at the season preview, the odds actually have us at 50-1 and are expected to finish in 10th, with Leicester, Wolves and Newcastle all finishing above us. The others you could kind of make a case for, but I'd like to think that we're going to finish all the way above those guys. So we're going to simulate the season, simulate this first year, and see how we get on. So that first season is now in the books, and with the team that we assembled alongside the Joker tactic, we have done very, very good things. We have finished inside the top 4 in the Premier League. We've also managed to win ourselves the Carabao Cup. So ultimately, a very impressive year for the Hammers. As I said, in the Premier League, we'll talk about the Premier League first. The board objective, we updated it throughout the course of the season, and it was to finish inside the top half. And we've kind of smashed that, to be perfectly honest. 22 victories for us throughout the course of the season, 7 draws and 9 losses. Now, we did score a lot of goals. We scored the same amount of goals as Manchester City in the league, but we did also concede a lot as well. 46 goals against versus the 88 goals scored. So pretty darn good. Plus 42 in terms of that goal difference, and that 73-point margin that saw us overtake some of the other teams going into that top 4. Wolves and Chelsea qualify for the Europa League. Tottenham Tottenham qualify for the Europa Conference League, and Arsenal finish all the way down in 9th. So not great for them. But potentially an indication on how the Premier League season might go. Obviously, there is no Forest in the updated databases. Sometimes it struggles with the playoff winners, so Forest aren't here in this particular instance, but Luton are, and Luton went down. So in terms of the cup competitions as well, the Carabao Cup, we win that one in extra time, beating Watford. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 and Jarrah Bowen, well, Jarrah Bowen with the all-important winner, but 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 with the opener, and 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪 𝙤𝙗 scores a goal there to make things move forward. But I do have some transfer business to talk to you guys about. We did make some signings in the January, so obviously I did mention those two guys there. We sold a couple players as well. The most expensive one was Lanzini. He has gone to Tigres in Mexico. But in the January, we went out and we went shopping a little bit because of our better inflated league position. The board gave us a little bit more cash, and we went out and bought some players. So 𝘼𝙗𝙗 comes in from Real Madrid. Now obviously he has gone from Monaco to Real Madrid in real life. Madrid weren't playing him. He was very unhappy. So another French body comes into the team for 6.25 million. This is an absolute steal. Real Madrid played way much, like so much more than this for this guy. So he comes in as well. Now, this one, Yuri Tileman. Now, his contract is up at the end of the upcoming season, the 22-23 season, and he did not want to renew it at Leicester City. So we, instead of waiting for him, we paid 10.25 million to have him for the season, and he almost averaged a 7, so has come in and done relatively decently. He was on a poor run of form at Leicester, since come in and got 2 goals and 6 assists for us in our half of the season that we did have with him. We also signed this man, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, not played by Arsenal, so hoping he can come in here and sort of complete our quartet of strikers. Obviously, we're going to have 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪, Belotti. We're also going to have 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 and Mikel Antonio. Sorry, there are our 4 main strikers. I like a lot about 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, and I'm hoping he has a good year for Arsenal in real life. But for us in game, 17 goals in 19 appearances is an unbelievable return since signing from Arsenal. And we also signed this guy, Ibrahimo Kanate. Now, Liverpool waited ages to get him in real life, but he's here now, and I'm hoping he can replace 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪. Now, West Ham fans, I know what you're probably going to say about me getting rid of 𝘼𝙗𝙗, and if you're an FM player, I can understand why you're saying don't get rid of 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪 down in the comments, but personally, I can't overlook such things that have happened, so we will be trying to sell 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪. So I'm hoping Kanate can really step into that void and do us a solid. But ultimately, going into season number 2, we've got £51.5 million to spend. I'm hoping we can kind of strengthen the team a little bit more, as obviously we do have to get ready for Champions League football in season number 2. So let's get the summer window done and dusted, and then I'll be with you for a transfer update. Right then, guys, transfer update going into season number 2, and the first thing I do need to talk to you guys about is we have sold 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪. Now, obviously, I did touch on some of the stuff that has gone on with 𝘼𝙗𝙗. I don't need to explain it too much, but he has now gone to Arsenal. Obviously, Mikel Arteta doesn't care what happens with him in his private life. So obviously, West Ham paid £30 million for him. Very good season for us last year, don't get me wrong, but he is now an Arsenal player. They pay £56 million for 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪, which allowed me to really strengthen this squad. Another one that I do have to touch on, Jarrah Bowen is no longer here either. He was getting upset that he wasn't playing enough football, and I love Jarrah Bowen, but we don't play wide players in this tactic. We don't play a central attacking midfielder in this tactic. So rather than keeping him at the club against his will, I let him join Everton for £20 million. So he has gone. But let's talk about some of the players that we brought in. Alex Telles comes in as a little bit of competition with Cresswell at that left back full position. Because Cresswell does get injured a bit and he's kind of getting on. So 30 years of age, Telles comes in, 8.75 million from Manchester United. Barely played for United last season, but I think he still has something in him even. So we went out then and spent some of that Zouma money. Now, there's a little bit of a theme going on here. We seem to have a lot of French players. I don't know why that is, but Maxime Lacroix comes in. Now, I've used this guy recently in a draft, which prompted me to pick him up because I think he's fantastic. He's fast as well. He's got 18 pace. He's 6'3", brings the ball out of the fence, tries long range passes. It's exactly what I'm looking for, kind of to replace that 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪 position. So he comes in. The other centre back, the other French centre back, is Tanguy Nianzou, comes in from Bayern Munich. Now, he is elite tier in this year's game. 6'3", 16 jumping once he's grown a little bit. Nice nice determination as well, very nice defensive stats. I'm hoping these guys can fill that void of 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, obviously chipping in with the headers as well as being very solid defensively, but we like 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 here. So we paid Bayern £37.5 million for his services. Having made a couple of appearances in the Bundesliga last season, I think he's ready for Premier League football. We also paid 28 million for 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, which could go up to 34.5. Then we also went out and got ourselves a goalkeeper. Shakira comes in. He is a elite tier goalkeeper in this year's game. When you need a goalkeeper, he is my go-to. Great reflexes, great one-on-ones, good determination as well. So you know he's kind of going to be in at the top of his game. He's got 28 caps for Turkey at this point and is only 27 years of age, so is very much going into his prime. We also sold Benrahma. He's gone to Udinese as well. Issa Diop leaves on a free, as well as some of the other young options going out on loan. So I mentioned there is a little bit of a French theme. If I go into our squad here, you can kind of see there is very much a French theme with Kanate, 𝘼𝙗𝙪𝙩, Zagadou, Lacroix, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 and Areola all in the squad, which is kind of helping with the dynamic, actually. So if we go into the team and quick pick our best 11 without restriction, this is how we're looking. We've got Shakira in goal, Coufal, Kanate, Zagadou, Cresswell, Rice, Vlasic, Tileman, Soucek, Belotti, and Eddie Nketiah. Obviously, we do have a lot more depth this year, but that is useful because we are going into the Champions League, so we do have the 3 domestic competitions, the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup. Also got the Champions League, though, which we will enter in the group stage, but obviously will be a pot 4 side. So you never know what's going to happen when you are a pot 4 side. In terms of the Premier League, though, they want us to finish inside the top half, and that season preview has us in 9th despite being in the Champions League. So let's show them and see what happens with a simulation of season number 2. Don't you just love it when a plan comes together? West Ham, Premier League champions. Who'd have thought that this team would have been able to go all the way? Well, kind of me, because I was trying to build this defense with a young sort of core to sort of be able to carry it on for a couple seasons. But this is an elite tier season for West Ham. Not only did they win the Premier League, they got to the semi-finals of the FA Cup, eventually being knocked out by Liverpool. They got to the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup, eventually knocked out by Manchester United. I can't see where they did get in the Champions League, but it looks like they got to the semi-finals where they were beaten by Manchester City, who obviously are about to go on and compete for that title against PSG. But let's talk Premier League, because we have amassed 91 points, 28 victories, 7 draws and 3 losses this season. We lost twice to Man City, once away at Spurs. Eddie Nketiah is the third best player in terms of goals scored. He scored 24 goals, which is fantastic. Alex Telles has a highest average rating, and Shakira comes in with the 3rd most clean sheets in the division with 14. We have been fan-bloody-tastic. There's nothing else I can say. We got 91 points, won the Premier League by 10 games, got to the semi-finals of the Champions League, got to the semi-finals of the FA Cup, got to the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup. This team is elite tier. Now, I do have to talk about a couple of transfer changes. Now, we did bring in Ridle Baku to come and kind of play as a utility player. He's listed as a regular starter, but the sheer fact that he can kind of play anywhere on the pitch is kind of what made me bring him in. He'll probably will play right back at points, but as I said, the fact that he is sheerly versatile really does help us. And also we paid £31 million for him, so he is going to have to play some games. We bought him in the January, obviously, because things were going so bloody well. So we're Premier League champions, and going into season number 3, we're going to have just shy of £60 million to spend, and we've got another 400k almost in our wage budget as well. So we've got quite a lot of things going for us. We're trying to improve some stuff off the pitch as well. If we go onto the club info, we're trying to improve these training facilities and the youth facilities as things are moving on. But because of our performance, we have been able to keep hold of this man. We've not even received an offer for Declan Rice so far, and long may that continue. We're going to have a transfer update for season number 3 coming up right now. So going into season number 3, we are obviously Premier League champions and would like to stay that. We need to secure that crown. So in terms of outgoings in the team, there weren't many. We did bring a couple other players in though. Julian Alvarez, who is someone who I am very excited to see in the Premier League, having transferred from River Plate in Argentina over to Manchester City. In the game, Man City not giving him enough game time. He wanted more game time, so I thought he could be a very good option for us in our team. He was happy to come in as a squad player as well, which is Absolutely ludicrous. Great first touch, fantastic flair, amazing off the ball, good acceleration, moves into the channels, is brilliant, plays 1-2s, fantastic. He's good on both feet. This guy is just what we needed, and we paid 19.25 million for him. It could go up to 22.5. We will see. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 𝙈𝙚 comes in from Rangers. They bought him from Besiktas already in this save, and I think he's okay. It's another sort of left back defensive option, maybe. Obviously we got Cresswell. We also do have Alex Telles in that position as well. But ultimately, I think, you know, competitions for places is quite healthy. None of them are actually especially young. And then the big boy transfer, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 𝙈𝙚 wanted to play Champions League football. So as champions of the Premier League, I thought I'll be having me a bit of that. Thank you very much. So the former Barcelona protege is elite tier in this year's game. There's no other way to describe it. RB Leipzig bought him for 16 million in real life. We paid 76 million for him after 2 pretty solid seasons in the Bundesliga. So he comes in to bolster our midfield options. Now we go into the tactic. This is our team. The squad's running a little thin. Maybe we'd like to add to it a little bit if humanly possible. But this is our best 11 now. So 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, Shakira in goal, Baku, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, Nianzou, Alex Telles. Declan Rice is still there alongside 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, Tileman, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 and Belotti. So obviously the only 2 West Ham players here in the starting 11 currently are Declan Rice and 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪. But obviously some of these players are a little bit unhappy. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪's unhappy, wants a new contract. Belotti wants to leave, but also wants a new contract. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 also wants a new contract, so we will be doing that before we go into the season. Obviously, we have a lot of competitions that we are up for. We do have the Community Shield as well this time around, as well as the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. They do want us to qualify for the UEFA Champions League via the league, though, so we do need to finish in top 4, and they want us to reach the first knockout round of the Champions League itself. So if we go into the season preview, we are predicted to finish in 6th, 20-1, the same odds as Newcastle and Tottenham. But we do need to be breaking into that top 4. So let's simulate season number 3, and we'll be back to see how we get on and see if we retain that Premier League title. Guys, we are going back to back. The Premier League is ours for yet another season. So 2 Premier League titles in 3 seasons for a team like West Ham. I think that's pretty darn good. We've also won the Carabao Cup again. We did win the Community Shield as well. So that will be listed in game as a treble. We got to the 5th round of the Emirates FA Cup where we were knocked out by Aston Villa. And we got to the semi-finals of the Champions League again and were unfortunately knocked out by Manchester City. Imagine my surprise. Let's talk Community Shield first and foremost. We beat Liverpool 4-3 in that one. Eddie Nketiah getting a hat-trick in that first half. Joe Gomez also scoring an own goal. An own goal for Declan Rice, a goal for Darwin Núñez, and a goal for Luis Diaz in this interesting look Liverpool side. Obviously not at full strength, but doing some good stuff, Liverpool, regardless. We also won the Carabao Cup, beating Manchester United 4-0 in that final. As Thomas Souček with a penalty, Belotti, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, and Dan Axel Zagadou with the goals in that final, which is very impressive. Winning our 2nd Carabao Cup in 3 years as well. Semi-finals, unfortunately, knocked out by Man City 6-5 after losing a game 4-1. Let's have a look at this one. Losing a game 4-1 is pretty darn upsetting, but looking at this Man City team, Rodri, Jack Grealish, Lautaro Martinez and Phil Foden with the goals, you can kind of see why. They've obviously bought Nuno Mendes, Bastoni as well. Who else have they bought? Serge Gnabry and obviously Lisandro Martinez as well. So they've obviously done pretty well and strengthened there. But Premier League, we didn't get as many points as last season. Last season we got 91. This year we got 88. We still do win the league by 4 points. We've also got a massive goal difference swing as well. Thomas Souček, actually, the 2nd top goal scorer in the Premier League from midfield. Alex Telles doing very good things in terms of the average rating, but it looks like we've conceded a little bit more than I probably would like. We have scored 112 goals, though, including double digits against Southampton, Stoke, Arsenal and Sheffield United, which is pretty bloody impressive. I do have to say so myself. Obviously, there will be a goal of trying to win the Champions League. Now we're in this position, but I don't know how possible that is. We do have £78 million to spend going into season number 4. Can we win the Champions League with West Ham? Going into season number 4, we've only got one real transfer to talk to you guys about. There weren't many outgoings at all, and we had one major incoming. 𝘼𝙗𝙪𝙩 is now a West Ham player. If you've seen any of Football Manager this year, you will know he is one of the most electric left backs in the game that you can pick up. He is a fully fledged French international, tongue twister, but also has made multiple appearances for AC Milan in Serie A and is super well-rounded. He's like a Telles, but younger and faster, effectively is what I've bought him for. We bought him for £53 million from AC. And he's had a very good time actually at Milan. Not as many assists as I would like to see, but that's our job to get that out of him now, and I'm hoping he can fit into this team quite nicely. Again, there are some outgoings as well, like Flynn Downes has left on loan, one of the new signings for West Ham this summer. Alex Telles is gone. He's gone on a free to Real Sociedad, hence the requirement to bring in 𝘼𝙗𝙪𝙩. The team, though, is performing absolutely brilliantly, and hence why I didn't really want to rock the boat. We still have Shakira in goal, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪𝙩, Zagadou, 𝘼𝙗𝙪𝙩 does come in to almost complete a fully French back line. Declan Rice, Janemi, we've got 𝘼𝙗𝙪𝙩, Tileman, Alvarez is up top now alongside 𝘼𝙗𝙪𝙩. That is the preferred top two currently, but obviously we do have the depth options on the bench. We've got 𝘼𝙗𝙪, Thomas Soucek, our top goal scorer last season in the Premier League, Belotti, Kanate, Fornals, Eddie Nketiah, Kufal still here, Ben Johnson still here, and Ridvan Yilmaz, again another depth option. But I'm enjoying these partnerships that are forming between all these players. It makes the team play even bloody better. So in terms of competitions, we have the exact same 5 as we did last year. Obviously, Community Shield, we are taking on Man City, who seem to be a little bit of a foe of ours. They want us to reach the semi-finals of the FA Cup. They also want us to reach the quarters of the Champions League. Obviously, we have reached the semi-finals the 2 previous seasons, so it's definitely possible. Then if we go into the Premier League again, they want us to be qualifying for the Champions League, so just retain that top 4 place. Obviously, as we are holders over the last 2 seasons, I'd like to think our odds have improved, and they have. We are now 15-1 to win the Premier League, despite winning it the last 2 years, but we have the same odds as Manchester United. I have just seen Dusan Vlahovic is also a Manchester City player. Do they have Haaland, Vlahovic? I've just seen that they do have Jurgen Klopp as their manager. So they got Lautaro Martinez, they got Vlahovic, and I see Haaland. So I don't really know how they're all going to fit, but Manchester City, obviously a powerhouse nonetheless. So it's going to be an interesting season to see if we retain the Premier League and three-peat. Let me know in the comments if you think I can do it. Season 4 is done and dusted, and unfortunately we were unable to hold on to the Premier League title. We do finish in the top 4 though. We do finish in 3rd with our lowest points return for the last 3 years. We've got 78 points in the Premier League. A rather disappointing season for us, to be perfectly honest. We kind of were expecting a little bit better, so hopefully we can bounce back for that 5th and final season. But a consistent top 4 performance from West Ham in the 4 years that we have been in charge of them. We were knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Champions League by Manchester United, 5-2 on aggregate there. Manchester United definitely having the better of us. Knocked out in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup by Newcastle, but we do retain the Carabao Cup, this time beating Brentford in the final. 𝘼𝙗𝙪𝙩 with the goal, and 𝘼𝙗𝙪𝙩 misses a penalty, but ultimately Brentford didn't really offer a huge amount of resistance to a 𝘼𝙗𝙪𝙩 top goal scorer in that competition, scoring 7, which is pretty darn impressive, if I do say so myself. If we go into the Premier League though, Liverpool win on 91 points. If Klopp is at Manchester City, of course, Pep Guardiola is the Liverpool manager. So Liverpool win, Manchester United come in 2nd, and we unfortunately do finish in 3rd. Ultimately though, I'm still quite happy. 2 Premier Leagues in 4 seasons so far. Obviously, we're going to do 1 more season to see if we can win it a 3rd time in 5 seasons, which would be, you know, a very good return. I think West Ham fans would agree. So in terms of the money that we've got to spend for this 5th and final season, just over 73 million. So hopefully we can spend it quite nicely. Obviously, we have said we've been improving stuff off the field as well. We've got excellent training facilities now and excellent youth facilities. So we are trying to improve things as much as humanly possible off the pitch as well as on it. Let's go and spend some cash and see what the team looks like going into this 5th and final season. So guys, going into the 5th and final season, you know how we do it on this channel. If you are still here, you are still watching this rebuild of West Ham, I ask you guys to put something down in the comments to let me know that you are still here, you are still watching the content. So please comment down below, I'm forever blowing bubbles. It has to be, doesn't it, with West Ham? I'm forever blowing bubbles, so let me know that you guys are still here. Let's go into this transfer update for season number 5, the 5th and final season. So first and foremost, we are talking outgoings. Long-serving player Vladimir Coufal has departed the club. He is now playing for Frankfurt. And we sold him to Frankfurt for a free transfer. He's getting on a little bit, but has been a very good servant for us over the past few years. His playing time has kind of dwindled over the past couple years since we brought in Baku to play as that right back. But Coufal, a fantastic servant to West Ham, so we wish him all the best. In terms of players in, though, we've brought in 𝘼𝙗𝙪𝙩 as another forward sort of squad option kind of vibe. I'm intrigued to see how he gets on. I've never actually used him in this year's FM. I've used him a few times in FM21. He comes in for 9.25 million. He was transfer listed by Juve, having barely played for them during his time there, so we brought him in as another squad option. Mazraoui comes in as another right back option. He was happy to come in as a squad player, so I thought with Coufal departing, it was good to bring in another right back option. He can also play right back, right wing back, and CDM as well, so he does cover off quite a few positions for us and also has terrific mental attributes. And then finally we brought in Gavi from Barcelona because why not? We brought in Gavi from Barcelona. He can do a few bits in central midfield, but he is still pretty young. He is only 22 years of age. So yeah, it's been crazy in terms of some of the players in, some of the players out, but if we quick pick without restriction our best 11, this is the team going into this 5th and final season. It's not really changed, to be honest, guys. Shakira in goal, Baku, Nianzou, Zagadou, 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪𝙩. Zagadou also very, very good signing for free. Declan Rice, Chenemi. We've also got Yuri Tileman, Scamacca, Julian Alvarez. Obviously, we still do have Thomas Soucek, Ibrahimo Kanate, Fornells, Belotti, Ben Johnson, Lacroix, Eddie Nketiah, who is actually transfer listed, Yilmaz and Mazraoui and 𝘼𝙗𝙪𝙩. We do need to register, but this team is looking top tier going into this 5th and final season. Obviously, we do have the same 3 cup competitions in the Premier League. They want us to get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. The board expectation is actually to get to the final of the FA Cup, which I don't know if that is going to be possible, to be perfectly honest, but we've not got there so far, so let's see what happens. And obviously in terms of the Premier League, they want that Champions League qualification again. In terms of that season preview, we are 4th, predicted to finish 4th, 10-1, same odds as Manchester United. Newcastle are predicted to finish in 3rd, but we do now have 2 players in the media Dream 11. We've got Declan Rice in there, who's being deployed as a centre-back, and we've also got 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪𝙩 as well. So it's nice to see that West Ham are finally getting the recognition that you would like to see them get. So we are going to simulate this 5th and final season. Let's see if we can recover that Premier League title. So the Premier League is coming back to London. Yes, we were able to recover that Premier League title after a blip with Liverpool winning it last season. We managed to win the league with 91 points again, back on top of the pile, beating Liverpool out by 6 points. But not only did we win the league, it was a league and FA Cup double in season number 5. So ultimately, I think we are finishing on a high. It turns out the semi-finals of the Champions League was as far as we could take this team. This time, ultimately, losing to Liverpool 3-2 on aggregate, but 3 out of the 4 teams in the semi-finals were, of course, English, because TV money talks, doesn't it? We also won the FA Cup, as I did mention. We beat Leeds in that final 4-3. Belotti, Baku, and 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪𝙩 and Julian Alvarez with the goals there, making sure we lifted the FA Cup as well. Knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. But ultimately, this team is elite tier. This tactic is also elite tier. We managed to win 28 of our 38 games, 7 draws, 3 losses. The 3 losses this time around, Newcastle, Liverpool, and Chelsea, all away from home. So no real shame there. The worst result there being the 3-0 away to Chelsea. Darwin Núñez is now a Newcastle player because of course he is. Why wouldn't he be? Newcastle did finish inside the top 4, so again, maybe this is a foreshadow into the future, and it'd be interesting, Hammers fans, to let me know if you think 3 Premier League titles in 5 seasons would be a good return. I think you'd be quite happy with it, wouldn't you? But all in all, Are things going fantastically well? I've really enjoyed this rebuild. Let me know down in the comments as well who you would like to see me rebuild next, because not that I'm running out of ideas, but it'd be nice to see who you guys would like to see me do next. If you do like the rebuild content, then please do go and check out this playlist, which has got all of the rebuilds that we've done throughout the course of FM22.